What I usually do when I find myself in a creative block, I go offline. So if I'm creating on the computer, I just turn my computer off and go straight to a sketchbook and then put in some music and just kind of lose myself. Just draw whatever.
Mm.
It sounds easier said than done, but sometimes it's just turning off, electronics and just going completely like old
Unplugging,
school.
disconnect.
hmm
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. Like people on podcasts, they just go get in nature for a little bit. I know for me, and I could probably speak for Charlie too, it's the gym. Like that's where I just go and get my mind free. And then I come back like, oh shit, I got like 5 ideas real quick at the gym to throw down.
The Perspective Podcast is fuel for your mind and creative grind. Each week, my guests and I provide the skills for thinking bigger, overcoming adversity, and making an impact with your work.
So what's going on, everybody? We are on our second hot seat call. The first one, I thought we went pretty deep. And the off weeks, you guys have been getting even deeper with your accountability calls and just really open up. And I love seeing, the synergy and the chemistry and everything really taking shape right now. We're truly growing into a family. And that just makes my day. Like we're a month in as we record this. So we'll be a month and a half into the mix. Actually, we'll be like 2 months into it once this comes out, over 2 months. And I want people to look back or look forward on the incredible growth you made from this conversation and go back to the beginning of your Instagram and just be blown away and hear this for the future and coming back to this and just be like, wow, like let me keep track of these students right now. So today we're just going to get deep. So for everybody who's listening into the show today, you're going to understand who each one of these people are. They're all going to tell you something they're grateful for. That's what we do here. We're going to share a win. We give a round of applauses when we celebrate W's here, whether big or small. And you're going to learn a little bit about what each project these people are pursuing is. And without further ado, let's just get into the mix. We're going to start with my brother, Luke.
Yo.
What's going on, man?
Doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing awesome. No pressure. The world is listening.
Yeah. Well, hello, I'm Luke Faribaugh. I am a graphic designer and illustrator from Indianapolis, Indiana. I focus on branding and badge design, and I employ the use of elbow grease and grit to get what I want.
And you're also an avid lover of axes in the outdoors.
I do. I love axes. I love chopping wood. I like looking good, but only on a few days. I don't know. You asked me to be grateful for, or what we were grateful for, and I totally skipped over that, so I apologize. One thing I'm grateful for is my wife and my support system that I have in my creative community, especially you guys. This coaching program has brought a lot of value to me, and I appreciate every one of you for it. One of the wins I had specifically today is I got a raise at work, which is pretty nice. Always welcomed.
That's a round of applause.
Yeah.
We love giving praise for a raise.
Praise for a raise.
So, tell people what you do for a day job quick. I think everybody should know what we're doing for day jobs.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer at a local marketing agency in Indianapolis. We do a lot of business-to-business stuff, and I like to do a lot of business-to-consumer stuff, B2C. So I don't get a lot of chances to do that at work. So my side hustle is doing that on the side, working with a little bit of sexier brands, working with stuff that aligns with my personality, like Western wear, denim jackets, axes, anything gritty is up my alley.
And basically you're one of the couple of in this group right now that are, all of us, we're hiring ourselves at the moment. We're hiring ourselves to attract the work we want to get. So what are some of the projects that you've created so far to attract that type of work? Because you're killing it, man. Absolutely killing it.
Some of the things I've been working on have been, I've been trying to niche down my style onto Western wear and Western brands. So that could either mean clothing, that could mean whiskey labels and branding. I would love to do a job for Coors Banquet, basically because that's my favorite beer. And I think they have that Western grit attitude that I align with. And I think, that's what I'm trying to go for. So
So like before we talked on like our first kind of onboarding call, just to even see if you wanted to be a part of the program, talk about where you were before and where you are now, and just like the whole niching process. And what are some things that you've really worked on to define your style and curate your style and build that cohesiveness in your feed, just so people like can scroll back and see, hey, this is where I was, but like, look at this straight fire that I'm kicking out now.
I was all over the place. I kind of I did have the shiny object syndrome, where if I saw something I wanted to do, I would do it, and then I would post it. And I also didn't have a great hashtag strategy either. I would post a lot of things with barely any hashtags in it. Also, I wouldn't post things with a lot of copy around it. I didn't show off my personality through my words. I tried to make my work speak for itself, and it wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. So I was all over the place doing drawing cars, drawing outdoorsy stuff, just doing really whatever inspired me in the moment. So this program has kind of taught me, and listening to this podcast has taught me to niche down and not be afraid of niching down. So,
even just for a season, like Tom Ross said, it's not a life sentence.
Yeah.
You're just trying to gain some traction here and be known for something.
Right. And so one of my constant struggles with this niching down is the season, and how long is a season? Because I still struggle day to day on wanting to do something else. Like
I think I just saw everybody nod their head on the video right now too. So even me, like, dude, I'm over here nodding my head too. Same here.
Yeah. I've like lately I've been drawing a lot of cowboys and cowgirls, and I feel like I've really invested a lot of time in there. And this is the longest that I've stayed doing these illustrations. And even last night I was like, all right, what's the next best thing? What's next? And I had to remind myself that this is a season, and the season's not over after like 4 or 5 posts. Like,
because we're a month in as we record this right now, so this is the first month coming to a wrap, and you've gone deep into it, so like that's just a part of a season at the moment.
And the other thing is I keep seeing continual growth. One thing I like to do that kind of makes me humble, but also makes me very proud of myself as well, is I will look at the work that I do currently, and I will judge it with a very hard eye and be like, oh, that could be better. That could be better here. I could have focused more on this part of the illustration. But one thing that keeps me continually pushing is thinking back to who I was in college. And if I saw the work that I was putting out now, I would be extremely proud of myself. And that helps me push even harder to be like, all right, I really want to make myself proud tomorrow. I want to make the past me proud of me in the next year.
Like that's dope as hell. So that's like, I want to paint a picture of all that for you guys, at the end of this 3 months, to look back, back at your college self or whatever, or back at the beginning of the program. I want you to just be like, holy shit, like that project sucked. Look what I'm doing now. And then at the end of this year, be like looking back at the end of 3 months, be like, damn, that's where I can improve. That's where I can get better from here. But you could see that measurable growth. And that's what happens within a season of going all out in one direction. Scary stuff, but that's what we're all doing right now. And I think I can see the growth in all of you guys. So if there's one thing you're struggling with or needing help with right now today, what do you think is kind of like the current roadblock that you're dealing with?
Well, I kind of mentioned it earlier with the season of niching down. I don't necessarily know how long a season is. I know seasons can change for every single different person on what timeline that is. But I guess just some general advice on how long or how many posts or whatever a season is, because as I said, I'm just keep reminding myself to dial it back and stay in this season, because I'm constantly looking for what's next.
So ideally with the program, in a perfect world, that season would be a minimum of 3 months. And let's see where we are at the end of the program. And I want everybody to have a dialed in plan moving forward, for at least the next 3 months, 6 months to the end of the year. So I know like you and Paul and Russell were kind of hiring yourself for the brands and the work that you wanted to attract and create, one being like a whiskey bottle. And now you were doing a ton of dope work for Stenson, who you would like to work for, trying to put yourself on their radars. So I guess we had talked about originally, if you're going to create a brand from scratch or any type of project for like 2 weeks, try to make 3 posts this week, 3 posts next week, just go deep in showing that style. But I feel like you're really tapping into this illustrative badge world. So I guess, what is it you want to do right now, or what's the end goal?
Well,
are you still doing like one brand per 2 weeks, or what's kind of your target?
I guess I've kind of lost that a little bit, that direction, because my mind is ever evolving on what's next.
So why Western? I guess because you keep talking about Western.
Yeah.
Is that just like what just feels right now?
That's what feels right. That's like my mentality. I had an uncle that passed away earlier this year, and he was like truly a cowboy's cowboy, the modern day cowboy. So I'm devoting a lot of my illustration to him, because he was one of the coolest uncles I've had, and I never got to tell him how I felt. So really, it's a deeper story with my uncle passing, and that's kind of why I've taken up the axes too. He taught me how to chop wood, and eventually I'm going to take his axe and redo it, and then give it to his son when he turns 18. So there's a deeper story to that. So you go into very often.
So like the axe and the outdoors and the Western, this all still kind of funnels into the same buckets of interest that we've locked down, right?
Yeah.
So maybe let me ask you this. Right now, what would excite you most to be hired for? A branding project or some dope custom ass badge illustrative lettering concepts that you've been doing?
I would say the latter. Stuff that can go all over the place. Like, branding is awesome, but I think what I really enjoy doing is illustrative badges that can be applied elsewhere.
Sorry, me and Benny are going back and forth, muting and unmuting. Welcome, Benny. Anya, just edit that out right now. So from the beginning of the program, it was like branding and going all out, doing mock-ups, whatever. But I already see like here's growth. We already know what we want. Like, you're already narrowing down your focus as you go by not only the emotional portion tied into this, but also like the work you want to be known for and attract. Like, this is truly on point. This is some of the dopest work I've seen you kick out, especially these last 2 pieces. Like, I feel like you're really finding your stride. So I don't see a problem. Like, what's the frequency you're able to kick something out? Once a week still in this direction?
Once to twice a week. Yeah.
Shit. Hell yeah. So I don't see a problem. If you don't want to be known for branding and mock-ups and attract like a whole branding kit, and you want to be known for that guy to like, let me hire this dude. He's the go-to within the Western outdoor axe, beard, manly man shit for a custom illustration. I see no problem kicking out something each week towards that. Especially if we're like doing some storytelling, let people know, like, you just hit the inspiration bucket, 3 buckets of value for those listening, of entertainment, educational, and inspiration. So you not only can tap in the inspiration bucket, but sharing your process potentially. Maybe you do like a screen recording, or in your stories, you can share the process that hits the educational bucket with your work. Or maybe in a post, you break down like how you got those very subtle, rough textures. You could break that down in a post. Here's your final artwork carousel. Here you can learn and teach people through that. So there's like an educational value. So you can hit all 3 buckets. Plus, it's just entertaining your work in general. So I don't see any issue. You have a shiny object, but I want to challenge you. Western's pretty niche, but just outdoors is niche. So how do you feel about continuing once a week to do this style of this illustrated badge concept that you've been doing?
I feel very comfortable with that.
Well, there's your answer. And is this something you feel like you could be doing not only for 3 months, but beyond that?
I mean, yeah, I'd like to. And I think that's my struggle is that I get the shiny object. I do like maybe 3 posts of one style, and I'm like, all right, I got that down. Let me move on to the next thing. But I mean, there's illustrators and graphic designers out there that devote years to their specific style. And it's sometimes I feel like I just don't have the patience for that.
Yeah. I mean, you can always throw in a wrench here and there as long as it stays within that cohesiveness of your feed. You know, if especially like a photo of you with maybe one of your designs layered over it somehow, or scale back, opacity, multiplied, whatever. But if it still fits that color palette and the aesthetic of your brand of like outdoors, I feel like you could just switch it up and try something else. It doesn't have to be a static badge concept, even though maybe that's the majority of it. But I still think you can test the waters in other areas, kind of like Melissa's doing. You know, she has her theme. Everything's ocean with the theme of blue. But right here, she has like a flat lay. Here's a 2D lettering piece. Here's a digital lettering piece. Here's just some shells laid out looking dope. You know, so I think if it still aligns with those main buckets in the brand aesthetic, switch it up here and there. You know, you're still early in the grind. You may tap into something like way new that nobody's seen that you could get hired for.
All right.
Cool.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. So overall, you feeling good? Is there anything else you want to kind of add to this? You know, your hashtag game is coming along well. You're locking down your cohesiveness, your color palettes.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched loosely on the passion project of the specific style, but I mean, mostly my passion project for this program, beyond niching down into a defined style that aligns with my brand and personality, but I'm also focusing on improving that Instagram presence and showing that personality through captions and tagging the right hashtags.
It's uncomfortable too. It's uncomfortable for a lot of you guys.
Yeah. Oftentimes I don't think about it until I'm starting to post and be like, oh, I need to think about what I'm supposed to say.
Right. We're not just showing up just to post and go. So like we show because we have something to say, some value. Yeah, this fits for us, but at the same time, what's someone else going to get for it? Are we trying to attract a loyal tribe member, or are we trying to put something out there to attract a client?
Yeah.
So no, you're doing great, man. I look forward to see it at the end of 3 months. So I hope you can see the growth. We can all see it. Cool,
Thank
man.
you.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No.
Thanks for jumping up first, having some guts for it.
Sure.
Benny, how you doing? You ready to go?
Just give me 5 minutes. I just woke up.
Oh, no, you're good. Charlie, you ready to go?
Yeah, go on then.
All right. So leading it off just for Benny, so we can catch you up. Ani can edit this out too. We're just stating who you are. You can give your location too. I think it's dope just to say like, hey, we're in national family here. Who you are, what you're grateful for, a win that you had, in your current passion project or buckets of interest or whatever you're working in. So
cool. Okay. So I'm Charlie, designed by Charlie on all the socials. And this week, I'm grateful for my health. And on that topic, my little win this week was managed to bench press 40 kilos like 3 times 8. So I don't know what that is in pounds. Sorry, guys.
All the listeners listen in pounds right now, not currency pounds, but weight pounds.
I'll figure it out.
Real quick, do you have any way you can turn up your volume at all? Or is that the loudest it can go?
Oh, hold on. Does that make any difference?
I'm not sure if I can hear. If not, that's fine. Honestly, I can always adjust value in post process, but
I have no idea, to be honest. These
no worries.
Are a bit rubbishy.
Keep it rolling.
Okay. What else was it? Oh yeah, passion project. So I am currently working on my project, which is lettering to inspire confidence in women through the medium of murals and signage, with a general focus around the gym, food, and general confidence through work and equality. That pretty much covers what I'm doing there. I think I can see the growth at the moment. I'm finding it a bit difficult. This week's been a bit rough, to be honest.
Why is that?
Everything from we had to put one of our dogs down because he was really old, and that was really sad.
I'm sorry.
All the way through to just like day job has just been a bit rubbish this week, which sucks. But I'm just not feeling as motivated as I was hoping, so I haven't managed to put out as many posts this week as I wanted. I'm trying to talk myself down.
You're good at that.
Talk myself through my post that I made on Sunday, which resonated with so many people. But it's not sinking in with me right now. Which is
you're good at getting in your own head and letting that inner critic kind of run the day sometimes, which fun fact is like you're human.
Yeah. So everyone keeps telling me.
Yep.
So basically I'm struggling with motivation mainly at the moment. And as I was saying to you the other day, I just want to be a bit more of an expert in what I do. I'm feeling like the work I'm putting out is good, but it's not really going anywhere. And I don't know, I feel like I want it to be a bit more special. So trying to figure out how to get that, to go that direction is a bit difficult at the moment.
So let people know how old you are.
25.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, you keep telling me this.
Yep. And I got to keep drilling it home. It's the patience of the long game. And just so people know, I've told Charlie this, and Paige is young gun too. When I was 25, I was such a huge fuck up. Like, you were way beyond where I was. Drinking, partying, doing drugs, living the life, about to give up my art career because it wasn't going anywhere. But like, dude, I would change positions with you in a heartbeat to be where you are now with the current struggles you have. In terms of like, my posts are doing well at times, but I just don't feel it, this and that. And like, I was too scared to even post my artwork when I was like your age. So you got good problems right now. And by the time you're my age, 31 and a half, like you're going to be on a completely other level through going through a program like this. So let's rewind people back. So at the beginning, when we first jumped on a call, this would have been like, we talked like late December, early to get you in the January launch. But kind of describe where you were then and then where you are now. So we can start painting that transformation for people to see, like, maybe it doesn't sound like you've made progress, but like you totally have. I know we can all see it.
Okay. So all of last year and before, I was doing similar sort of lettering work, mostly black and white, inspired by Liz Gray, which always been an inspiration. But it was all just pen on paper. I wasn't really doing anything else. I had only just got an iPad at the time, so I was pretty new to that. But yeah, it was just pen on paper. It didn't really mean anything. And I think that's kind of what kicked me into doing this, was the, I suppose, realization that I could make my work do something more than just be on a piece of paper, and hopefully then impact someone, which is my ultimate goal with this, is to have an impact on, like, preferably on a large scale. But even if it's just at the moment, as it is just through Instagram, it's quite nice to see people resonating with what I do, which is quite nice.
So like before the program, I remember when we first talked, one of your biggest struggles were you're just posting the post. One moment it might be a client piece, like you made a logo for someone. Then it might be a lettering piece. Then it might be like a time-lapse video, something you've done for like a local place, some lettering on like some large scroll paper. And just in the last 2 weeks, I think more, if the outward growth isn't necessary, it's more of the inward growth. And I think a lot of you are getting clarity on who do you want to be online? Who do you want to impact? Like you said, you wanted to make an impact, and you and me jumped on a side conversation to get deeper. Who do you want to make an impact on and why? And yours was, we locked it down, kind of your positioning statement during this season. It can always change, and articulate it better, is you want to inspire confidence in other women. Because like, for people who don't know, you're in the gym and she can do what? How many pull-ups? Like 10?
Yep. 10 in a row.
Like, I guarantee half the dudes in this program can't even do one pull-up. So like, that's how we decided, like, your buckets of interest. What are the main things that you're passionate about, you're interested about, your beliefs, your values? And it was gym. We're still waiting to see some food related things, but like gym, food. And what was the other one that you had said? Or just just empowering motivational stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, so like, I think that was it.
But from where you were then to where you are now, we're a month into this. It'll be 2.5 months when this comes out. So the fact that you have clarity of knowing that you want to instill confidence in women through your work, like, that's huge. So moving forward, every post aligns with that. And a lot of people are still just showing up and guessing each day. So to me, that's where I see growth. I see. Oh my God, Amanda, we're going to turn that off. Yep. Okay. Where I also see growth is earlier this week, you posted a post that got 92% reach. What was it at last? 92%?
95, I think it got
Oh, shit. Flex a little bit more. So 95, that deserves a round of applause. We're having a competition. I'm a very competitive person. So we're going to have a competition now. So in the program, if anybody's listening and you don't look at your metrics or your insight and you're not on a creator account, you need to do that shit ASAP, because we're teaching people how to understand the work that is performing, that lights them up, and who it can serve a bigger impact, and then continue to do more of what works. So right now, if you guys all swipe up and check on your Instagram stats, down there at the bottom is percentage of people who aren't following you that have found your stuff. And it goes through, like, they found you on your homepage, through your hashtags, through other, explorer, location. And Charlie, through our hashtag strategy, just pulled a 95%. That's absurd. 95% of people are not following her, have followed her. And a lot of it was through hashtags. Like, I've never pulled a number that high, but we got other people pulling like 80s and 90. I think Nancy maybe posted like an 88 or a 90 something, but so like, that's a huge win, you know? So little guides that you're on the right path. At least I see it.
Yeah. I mean, it feels better. Like, since we've figured out my positioning statement, I do feel like I'm going in more of a direction rather than just winging it all the time.
There's no guessing anymore, or less guessing.
Yeah, definitely less guessing. It's just a case of basically finding the time, carving out the time I need to do the work that I want to do and get it right, rather than just sort of half-assing it and chucking it up and vaguely figuring out the post as I go.
For sure. And I know you and a couple others have started getting on like TikTok too. So, I mean, if that takes too much time away, like, you already know, you can pump the brakes on that as well, focus on one thing. But a lot of you guys are like, I feel like a lot of us are competing with each other. Like, oh shit, this person posted like 3 times this week in the group, you know, and I'm barely getting one, and I'm not doing enough. And I think that's a lot of things. I'm not saying that's how you are, but I could sense from some other people, like, damn, this person posted 3 times, you know, I'm not doing enough. And I want to give like grace to all of you. The whole goal is to post a minimum of once a week. Everybody's schedules are different. Timing's different. Responsibilities are different too. So even if even if you're not able to get it one week, I'll give you a break too, as long as you can get back on track. So I know there's a lot of pressure in that stuff. So, you know, and I put a lot of pressure on it too, but on a week like this is a hard week. I know Nathaniel right now is having a hard week too. So, I mean, this is the art of healthy hustling, as well as leveraging your day job to fuel your dream job. So moving forward, you know, as we kind of move into this new month, where do you think your biggest obstacle is right now? You know, you talked about comparison a lot as well.
So I think I'm definitely falling into that whole comparison trap, whether that's with you guys, like how much you're posting because you're all doing so well, and we're looking at your work like, oh my God, mine is not at that level. Or whether it's comparing myself to others on social who are clearly at a different stage in their career, which I definitely know, but that whole comparison thing is bad. So I think that's probably my biggest struggle. And I think it's probably causing me to sit and procrastinate. I'm consuming far too much on Instagram and just wasting my time looking at other people's stuff and not actually doing my work. And I think it's just been a particularly bad week. I could have done so many other things, but I've just been focusing on all the negative crap rather than actually doing all the good stuff. So hopefully after tomorrow, or today here, as it is Valentine's Day here already, and yeah, hopefully by the end of this weekend, I'll be a bit better back on track.
And what time is it right now in the UK?
It is 1:05 in the morning.
Yeah. Shout out to you. Like, dedication to the program. And so my challenge to you, and to open it up to instill confidence in women through your work and really tap into your own style and your voice, is I want to see some kind of post related to comparison.
Yep.
I think we already talked about it, but like, that's, you know, I know Benny's opened up about some stuff that's been hard for her too, but like, that's such a relatable topic, and you're going to be blown away of how many people are like, oh shit, me too. and that's where that personal brand comes. So in the end for you, like that's impact, and that's your main vision and main goal. So, that totally aligns with it. So is there anything that we can kind of like add to help, or anything else that you need at the moment or you want to talk about?
I don't think so. Only I did convert kilos to pounds if you're really interested.
Yes. So how much did you put up in weight on your bench press?
90 pounds.
90 pounds.
Yeah,
Nice.
So that's not far off my body weight. I mean, I can do more than that. It's just, it was for reps this time.
Scary. Now I want to know what your 1 rep max is.
Hold on. Give me a second.
Get like 115?
110.
110. Okay.
Yeah.
Holler at me when you're doing like 135, 45-pound plates on each side.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, Charlie, thank you so much. You're crushing it right now. You're finding your groove. You're 25. Don't forget that. Patience.
Yeah.
I know. Easier said than done, especially when you're comparing your beginning to other people's middles or other people's like far down in their novels that they've written. So don't forget that. I know I would kill to be trading spots and be in a program, to be able to afford to be in a program like this at the age of 25. Like, dude, I was eating ramen and Easy Mac, and I probably was living at my parents' house right before I moved into with my wife. So yeah. Okay. Well, good shit. Appreciate you. Keep up the good work.
Cool.
Miss Eggs Benedict. You ready?
I'm ready.
What's going on, Benny? How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm good. I just woke up, so sorry if I'm a bit tired. But yeah, I'm Benny. I'm Jensen Design at all social medias, so hit me up. Today, I'm grateful for my dog, Poppy. She makes me go outside this period where I don't have a day job, so she makes me less lonely and give me all of the cuddles, so she's very lovely. So I'm an illustrator based in a small town in Norway. Originally I'm a graphic designer, but I just lost my day job, so that sucks. So therefore my passion project is making a living out of my passion illustrating. And I illustrate big feelings, like big relatable feelings, like mental health problems, which I've been focusing a lot on recently. And I'm also gonna do more work on equal rights and climate changes, which I deeply care about as well. This last month, I've been working on my style and expanding my style a bit to more editorial pieces, which has been very fun and challenging.
What's a win that you've had recently, either this week or just anytime recently, big or small?
I think my biggest win is that I've grown so much the last month. I was looking at my Instagram today and just thinking, shit, what happened? I'm just finding my style and finding who I am. And it's very nice seeing it all coming together. So that's a big win for me, just seeing the potential I actually have, and it makes me believe in myself.
So let's give a quick round of applause to that, because that's empowering as hell. And I want to go back to Benny a month ago when we first jumped on a call to where Benny is today. For those who don't know, Benny shared that she had lost her job. So I totally related to her. Like, me and Benny have a lot of weird things in life, big feeling wise, in common. I lost my job similar at the same time. We're both on severance packages, both with our backs against the wall, trying to figure out our world and our place in it. But Benny was scared to call herself an illustrator. Yeah.
Yep.
She's like, I got a master's in design, but yeah, all she showed was illustration work. And she did not want to call herself an illustrator, nor a freelancer, even if it's just getting your feet wet in freelancing, So immediately that's like huge win, because now like you own it. You're embraced. You even say you're an illustrator right now, and you mean that shit. You're not even like feeling weird about it anymore.
I don't. It's nice.
Right. Well, and on top of like, there's things that were hard to talk about. Like I try to go deep and help everybody tap into their buckets of interest. Again, like your interests, your passions, your beliefs, and your values. And that was really uncomfortable for you too. Like a couple I'd say about half of you guys raised your hands when you were introverted. And so sharing things you're interested in or believe in or that are close to you are really, really hard. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? Especially like within a post, too, and the engagement that you got with it or the reaction.
Yeah, I didn't really know what I want to focus on, but I kind of know that I wanted to focus on mental health. I just didn't know how to go about it. So I started sharing a bit about it, and I shared one post about called Feelings, a short story, and it got so much engagement. And I think it's that relatability that gets people, but it also was so scary sharing that stuff and made me so anxious. But in the end, you get that good feeling that people care, and I didn't get one single negative comment back. So it's scary, and I'm pushing myself a lot, but it's so rewarding in the end.
Well, and I think you're kind of aligned with Charlie. Not only do you want to like be known for creating dope work, but you want to be known for something more than that, which is making impact, which is dope, which is why all of you guys are in here. It's bigger than just dope work at the end of the day. The program helped you create dope work to leverage, but it's more important than that.
Yeah, it's going a bit deeper, and I think that's important.
So what does deeper look like to you? Like what scares you next? Because anything you guys tell me that makes you nervous, you're afraid of, I'm pushing you to get to pursue it.
Yeah, I've been thinking a bit about it, actually. I'm scared that I'm going to be known as this anxious girl, if you know what I mean. I feel like I talk a lot about anxiety with you guys, and I'm scared if I share too much about it on Instagram, I'm going to be that girl. So I'm kind of struggling to find my voice at the moment, actually, kind of.
What's that girl mean?
I don't know. I'm probably overthinking, but I don't want to, when people mention my name to someone, and I don't want them to say, hey, it's Benny, the anxious girl, or that girl with anxiety, because that's not me.
What if it was like, that's Benny, and she's the badass who owns her anxiety and helps other people own theirs? I
know that's how I should be thinking, but my anxious mind doesn't think like that.
What we talked about today on our phone call before this was anxiety is the art. It's an art form of creating problems that don't exist because we like control. And then we concoct these situations in our mind that have never happened, probably never will happen. We don't have control of them, and it just looks like overwhelming.
Yeah, I know.
What were some of the messages that people gave you on that post, A Story of Feelings?
I got a lot of messages, and people kept sharing it and saying that it was so relatable. So, as I said, I didn't get one negative comment about it, so I shouldn't overthink it so much. But yeah.
Well, and I want to, because I'll be the bearer of bad news. When you continue to pursue something that's really, really important to you, and you have an opinion and a stance on something, you're going to piss off someone. You're going to, like James Victoria, I always repeat what he says. Have a damn opinion. Don't be oatmeal. And I call it, you can't make everyone happy. You are not pizza. And I've experienced some really nasty shit when I'm trying to out here trying to encourage and empower people, and make a positive little dent in the universe. And I've had some really nasty shit. And it sucks that one little nasty comment can outweigh hundreds and thousands of good things. But then I'm learning the people who are haters and trolls, they don't have the courage, the nuts, the candor, the courage, just to put themselves out there. So it's easier for them to tear others down because they just don't have what it takes. The people, the biggest critics are the ones who are too scared to do what you do, so they try to make themselves feel better to pull themselves down to yours. So I'm not going to take anybody's opinion seriously if they're not in the arena throwing down, putting themselves out there to be seen each day. Because what you're doing and what Charlie's doing, what all you guys are doing takes so much courage. Yeah. And just know when you continue to go on this road, you're going to deal with a fucktwad. What did I say? A fucktwad? A fucktwad? Whatever. You're going to deal with an asshole here and there. So I want to let you know, like, it's never not going to come, but at the same time, like, the good outweighs the bad, and that one person you're impacting with your post can far ripple, long down the road to the next person, So, I think it's incredible. Is there anything that we can help you do, or anything else you kind of want to like talk about moving forward? You, another big win, you just kicked out like some book series. You want to attract art cover books for book cover art and editorial stuff. And I think you just kicked out what 4 or 5 super insanely good book covers.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun working on that and challenging as well, but I think it's been pushing me in the right direction. So using that as a portfolio piece, I'm working on another one now, which is really good.
In terms of a book cover, or?
No, just more like editorial pieces to have something to show off and show what I can do. So that's why I'm working on, like, getting together a portfolio to show to clients and stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, and Benny's another person who's hiring herself for the work she wants to get. You can post 2D static images, dope eye candy all day, but once you if a client or an art director ends up landing on your page, like, how can you show your work in a tangible, commercialized setting? And everybody I challenge, like, where do you want to see your work live? What markets you want to play in? What's those buckets of interest? But where do you want to see your work live? So she wanted to do book covers. So now she's kicking out books. Like, editorial is going to be coming up next. So that's the concept of hiring yourself. Where do you want to see your work live? Now show that shit. Cool. Anything else you want to add on top of that?
No, I think that's it for today.
All right. What time is it in Norway?
It's 2:15.
Crazy.
Middle of the night, so I'm a bit tired.
You and Charlie. Well, just know if you guys need to catch some sleep, thanks for showing up. So,
yeah, thanks.
No problem. All right. Who's next? Anybody want to go? All right. Fancy Nancy. What's going on, Nancy?
Hey, Scotty. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm awesome. Live for this stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm Nancy, and what you heard Scotty said earlier, Fancy Nancy.
How do you pronounce your last name too for everyone?
Okay. Last name is Liu. It's spelled Luo. The O is silent. It trips a lot of people up. So, or they switch the last 2 letters. So it's a weird Chinese pronunciation thing. So when it's translating to English, it actually you drop the O sound. So it's just Lu. You pronounce that part.
I needed a fresh reminder anyway. So
no worries. So again, I'm Nancy. You can find me on Instagram as Fancy and Wonder. And I'm a lettering artist and illustrator from California with a huge love for Dungeons and Dragons. And that actually leads into my passion project, which is what's called the Illustrated Manual Adventuring. It's a weekly illustrated tip that I kick out on Instagram, basically teaching people how to play Dungeons and Dragons. Let's see what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for this group. Every week I'm reminded that I have a support system. Growing up, I didn't really have a lot of, I guess, creative friends or just friends that I could really geek out and be weird around. I was kind of shunned. Like, that's how Scotty and I kind of connected a bit, was that, we kind of were picked on as kids, and, people looked at us weird, and so we just kept to ourselves. And then when I started exploring Instagram and connecting with Scotty, and then with the group itself, it just felt like, it's home. I could talk to you guys about anything. I could joke about my Dungeons and Dragons nerdiness, and then some people get it, and some people are like, oh, hey, I actually want to learn more about it, Nancy. And it makes me feel good that I can actually teach something like that to people. And my biggest win for this week is actually getting my first piece done on Procreate, because I just got an iPad Pro last week.
Welcome to the new obsession.
Yes. Actually, I also want to thank Maggie and Turias. She is from Little Patterns, and we also did a guest expert call with her, I think, a couple of days ago, and she's the one who actually sold me her extra iPad. So I'm really grateful for that. Deal.
I was mad jelly you got that, and I couldn't.
I know. And she also gave me a custom, her custom brushes too, for free. So she had the set that she had left over, and so like, hey, do you want to download those too? I was like, yeah, sure, awesome.
Maggie's a beast.
So, and I think That's about it for me
So,
in terms of introduction.
So let's talk about where you were when we 1st
Mhm.
jumped on a call to where you are right now. What's kind of like the growth, the clarity? How have you kind of really even more narrowed your focus and really finding your style in terms of color palettes, hashtags, whatever, kind of tell a story about that little transformation you've been having. Cause would you say that you've been seeing growth so far a month into it? Cause like I can see it, but I want to hear from you.
Yes, Scotty. So I've actually definitely seen a lot of growth. From when I initially talked to you back in December, I was kind of all over the place. Same with Luke. I had shiny object syndrome. I just wanted to, like, I had an idea for something. I would go for it for like a couple like weeks, and then I was like, oh no, I want to do something new, and then I would switch it up. But since then, I've actually really niched down into Dungeons and Dragons, which I really love, and I like talking about it and explaining different like aspects of it. And right now, I actually have some ideas for a couple of future projects involving Dungeons and Dragons. Mainly probably like T-shirt designs or maybe bags. I know Benny talked about like my most recent post on Instagram that actually she would see on like a T-shirt or like a tote bag. So looking into that, kind of designing in that realm. But I just like that I picked that's a niche, kind of our niche to kind of go into. And
does that make you feel uncomfortable going all out in this direction? Or it seemed kind of like it just came natural. You were all for it when we talked about it. Some other people have been like having some resistance on stuff, understandable. But like you were just like, oh, fuck yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was really happy to have some direction because I work really well on like if you give me constraints. So when Scotty said pick an area, just go in for a season, if you don't like it afterwards, you can definitely switch it up. So I was like, I'm just going to stick with it. And then if it turns out at the end of like 12 weeks, I don't like it, then I can always try something new. But the more I constrained myself, so I picked Dungeons and Dragons and I picked like a teaching kind of a resource guide. And then I went to picking a color palette. That was the hardest for me because I wasn't sure if I should go colorful or very black and white because my work tends to slide in black and white, and I was really digging that kind of color. And then once I posted my first one, it really got a lot of traction, and I was like, okay. So,
the color palette with like the black and yellow and white. Mm-hmm. And I just got to say that's Iowa Hawkeyes colors. So like, just saying, it's like my college team. So please digress. That was not important, but I needed to say it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then playing with that palette, having that constraint actually helps me try to be a bit more creative with each post. Because I initially had like a list of ideas I wanted to post. And then as the weeks have gone on and I've like, I saw how the last one performed, what can I do with the next one? I was like, I think I can up this up or change it up or tweak it up just a little bit more. Because I know I can push the creativity. I'm just holding back because I'm like afraid, it's not conformable. I was like, I'm having fun doing it. And that was like one of our major goals, Scotty, that we talked about, was that for a while I like was playing, like I was going around, but I wasn't having fun. And I find like right now I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Good. Yeah. I'm a big believer. Constraints breed creativity. Like I work within constraints, choosing color palettes. Like I know that's hard for Luke. I know that's hard for Krissa and anybody else that's not on the call right now. Like that was very, very tough for me and I'm still working on it. But at the same time, like that feed of yours, when people listen now, it's going to be a month later and you'll kick out another 4 pieces or so. Like your feed's going to be just looking like, damn, really eye catching. So, what are some things that you've been doing for engagement in terms of like hashtags? Like what are some of the percentages you've been getting and what are some of your tactics you've been doing?
So for hashtags, I usually hit between 70 and 80% on engagement.
It's nuts.
Like just people, just from the hashtag. So I use a lot of your advice on just picking the more niche ones. Because before I would pick really general big ones that I would try. So,
like hand lettering or lettering that has like 20 million plus or something.
So my post would get lost in the sea of other people's posts. So I kept that constraint. And I kept that with this week as well. I haven't seen a lot right now on my current post or today's post. But it is what it is. And I just got to keep moving forward. So I can't let that get me down.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I've shared recently, like I changed up my whole strategy and I got like a 1% and it sucked, but it's more like, okay, is my content trash? Sometimes it's just the content's not good, and that's okay. That's another learning point. I'm not saying yours is, but like maybe mine wasn't. So, so what is something like maybe you're currently struggling with, or where, I guess, do you have your target set to finish strong with? You know, is there anything that we can help out with? Any big struggles, obstacles?
My biggest struggle right now is my caption writing. I have a tendency to write over the character limit. So when I know that's hard to believe, but there's a lot of editing that goes behind the scenes, even with how much I write. And I remember something you told me last week, Scotty, on our one of us, I think during office hours, that said like, Nancy, I like what you're putting out, but it's also hard to read. And I realized that too, because like when I'm going through like a feed, I was like, I see something long, I'm going to scroll past it. So like, I try to
big wall of copy.
Yeah, that's hard. So I'm just looking for, I guess, tips and I guess tricks and how can I be concise but still get my story across? Because I'm kind of going with a story format, and I'm kind of having difficulty like scaling.
So what's the hook? Like every caption, just like every talk has like an outline, like a public speech. You know, you got the hook right in the way in the intro. Yeah. Like what's going to grab people's attention. Then you kind of have your outline. So like a blog post could be your hook, which is then into your intro, and maybe it's your body is consisted of 3 main points. Then you have your outro and a call to action. So I feel like how I write blog posts, how I craft a speech, this can all apply to a caption. So what's that hook? What is that going to get someone? Like for me, it could be in the form of a question. It could be in a statement. It could be like, think of like headline titles, you know, like BuzzFeed wise, 11 this for this or this. People are just trying to trigger you with some kind of emotion. So what is your post about? If you know who that end user is someone who wants to like learn Dungeons and Dragons, you can lead off with a question. Have you ever, I've never played, so I can't give you a good example, but have you ever done so-and-so and find yourself so-and-so, like you're in a shitty position and you can't do this? Lead off with a kind of a question. Be like, hey, and then you can bring in that relatability, like, hey, I was in this position. If you find yourself in position, here are 3 ways to get yourself out of it to be the master of all the dungeons. Oh my God, I'm stupid. I'm sorry, I'm ruining anybody who plays this game. Oh my God. I do like RPGs. I'm a Final Fantasy guy, so I can nerd out, but you know what I mean? So like lead off maybe potential with the question. Okay. Then have your kind of like your body, your format, let people know what's coming. 3 rules for this, 3 tips for this. It could even be 2 or 4, but 3 kind of the magic number, power of 3. So play around in that area. Maybe it's just 1 tip for this thing with 3 points about that 1 tip. And then close it, you know, sandwich and add in, you know, is there a certain thing you're struggling with? Or have you ever been in this position? Leave a comment below or DM me an idea or something like that. So kind of setting the tone, setting expectations. Like I'm a big believer in my talks. You know, I let people know, hey, I got 3 main points today. I'm going to talk about this, this, and this. And here's the main topic. Here's my 3 main points. Then I'll talk about the 3 main points. Then I'll recap those 3 main points. Conclusion, I call it landing the plane. But lead off with the hook. Could be a fun fact. Could be a question. Like even yesterday or one today, I wrote to the perfectionist, and I wrote it like all in caps, hoping to just like capture someone like, oh shit, I'm a perfectionist. Let me read what this is about. So get that hook. Okay. I don't know if that helps.
Actually, that does, Scotty. Like even like writing, because I'm writing in a kind of a story format. Like there's like kind of the character who's like kind of playing the role of everyone that is like learning it, and then I'm playing like that role of the person who's like teaching them. So I can lead off. I think a couple of them I led off with a question, but I think I can lead off with like a statement, like a shocking statement, like, oh, they found something on like in the book or something, and then the me or the character and the narrator will like go in and say, oh, these are your main points, and then
try and get some shock value. Get some shock value. Put yourself in that position of someone who'd be interacting with your post that your content was specifically made for. Act like you're typing an email just to them. What's going to like generate their curiosity? It's like when I write an email, I write like 10 subject headlines first using like these little formulas that I found for magnetic headlines. And then I pick one that I feel is going to be like most intriguing, I guess. So it's basically that, just copywriting. You're only going to get better with it. And once you start paying attention to what is working, oh shit, this one got a little bit more engagement, you know, continue to just tweak your formulas here and there. But caption writing, just the art of copywriting. I know a lot of people struggle with that. So hopefully that kind of gave a lot of people just a format to utilize, especially if you're struggling with captions right now. You know, it's a sandwich. You got your hook, kind of your intro, your outline in your body, and then your conclusion with a call to action. Get people to start a conversation in the post. Hey, you dig this? Do a double tap party, like my photo, or shoot me a DM if you don't feel comfortable and engage with me there. I'll respond. Whatever. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's actually perfect, Scotty. Thank you so much.
Cool. I know you got to get running too, right?
Yeah, in a little bit. I think I could stay on for a little bit and just hang out with everyone. So
cool. Well, way to wave your freak flag and just nerd out. That's what this is all about. Love what you're doing at the end of the day. It's for the right people and repel the people who don't matter.
Thank you, Scotty.
Cool. I want to make sure we fit in. Let's go with Paul. Paul's not here right now, but Paul is in the program and he is in the UK as well. And I know he had to get up at like 5 something a.m. to go work at the gym. But Paul, his brief summary for his project he shot me, he's currently working on basically same as Luke and as well as Russell. We'll talk about Russell here. But he's trying to hire himself for the work he does, or the work he wants to be known for that align with his interests, his values, his passions. And starting off when Paul and I jumped on our original call, he hadn't posted since like 2018. He just didn't know what to do in his first step. So like we got him hiring himself. And my goal for him at the end was to not only double, but triple your rates by hiring yourself for whatever you want to be known for. So his first project that he's currently working on is he's big into faith. Faith is one of his big buckets. And he's working on a church right now, a church branding from Trap called the Fruit of the Spirit. And his style is super simple, minimalistic. And he wants to appeal to a younger generation and look a little bit different than other church logos. So we've really been pushing it here. Instead of just posting a static, here's a logo I made, let's go deeper. All right. So let's build like logo identity systems around it. Let's leverage mockups that are relatable. And this is for anybody listening right now who maybe is not attracting the work they want to get. And maybe you're not getting any traction on any type of work. Hire yourself by finding those buckets you're interested in and creating projects around it that you can put in your portfolio. So right now, Paul is creating a branding aesthetic, a branding identity system, mock-ups, and everything around this to get hired for, someone who does this branding, branding identities and kits. And a church would be kind of his main thing. Where's his question at? So his question, and all you guys can chime into if you got something, but I often have creative block and struggle to create good ideas. Do you have tips on what to do when this happens, and what's your process when trying to generate ideas for a project? Before I dive in, does anybody have anything they want to add? What's up, Nancy?
Okay, so to help out Paul, what I usually do when I find myself in a creative block, I go offline. So if I'm creating on the computer, I just turn my computer off and go straight to a sketchbook and then put in some music and just kind of lose myself. Just draw whatever. It sounds easier said than done, but sometimes it's just turning off, electronics and just going completely
unplugging, disconnect. Yeah, a lot of people are like that. Like people on podcasts, they just go get in nature for a little bit. I know for me, and I could probably speak for Charlie too, it's the gym. Like that's where I just go and get my mind free. And then I come back like, oh shit, I get like 5 ideas real quick at the gym to throw down. I guess for me, I'm a big believer of collecting your ideas. Whenever like an idea hits you in your head. So like I keep my field notes sketchbook here, my Hellcats wallet. I got aqua proof shower notes that I keep in the shower. I get good ass ideas in the shower. Like I create my weekly side hustle tips or my podcast artwork thumbnails. I do it in the shower. And then I keep a sketch note by my bed, or I keep a running iNote or my notes app. You can do it in Wonderlist, Evernote. I know Russell uses, or he uses Notion. But anytime you get an idea, log it, collect it somewhere, collect a gold mine of your ideas. So that way you have a reserve backed up, and you can build an editorial calendar, which is, I challenge a lot of you guys to do that too. So Paul, if you're running out of ideas or you have ideas that you see online, try not to get too much influence from, but if it sparks an idea, I would say start like a running notes app, or get the app Notion, or in just anything, and start writing down your buckets. Like, okay, this is a mock-up I could do. Here, what's the next project I want to work on? I know Paul's into fitness. So maybe I can do a sweet barbell logo. Maybe I found this dope tank top mock-up the other day on Creative Market. I can go and leverage that. There's a sweet Unsplash photo of like a gym background. Maybe Charlie's going to go take that one for one of her murals first. But basically what I'm saying is collect your ideas because that's going to be your gold mine. So Melissa says in the chat, I have like 5+ years worth of idea notes on my phone. Benny's like, same, haha. So does anybody else have like, how do you guys collect your ideas? Like Luke or Chris, I would love to know. You two just both popped up, whoever pops in, like, how do you kind of cultivate your ideas? Where do you get your ideas from? Actually, I'm going to call on Luke first and then I'm going to call on Chris.
I'm like Nancy. Well, sometimes I go to Pinterest, but I've found that doesn't help me very much. The offline route helps me a lot more. So I will just go away from a computer and I will open up my sketchbook and I will just draw what comes to mind. Sometimes when I'm at work, when I have to do layouts for B2B, I'll just draw on my notebook that layout and do like a loose wireframe. That kind of gets the ideas rolling. You don't have to be limited by what you can do on the computer or what you can find. You could just make stuff up. So I'm a lot like Nancy in that way.
What about you, Chris? Like, especially for your collage work, and we'll get to this in a little bit. I know you said you kind of have some dogs going in the background, but it is what it is, man. This is real life. We're all side hustlers here.
Oh man. It depends on where I'm at. Like, if I'm out and about, I'm gonna take a drive and I'm gonna go to the older part of the city and stuff and see what's going on. Like, catch some of the old signs, maybe some of the paintings on the sides of the buildings and stuff. We have a lot of that here in the area.
Holy shit, your dogs are going crazy.
Yeah, the family's just getting home, man. So basketball practice. Otherwise, dribble, Behance, Pinterest. I bounce around, see what's going on.
Nice.
I got a pretty big book collection as well that I'll break out and go through there.
See, even books, man, just getting your brain off of being in the screen. So I like that, disconnecting and collecting your ideas. Collect your damn ideas, Paul. Cool. Well, that's where Paul's at. So if you want to find him, I'll have him in the show notes, but it's Say-O Studio. And yeah, he's sleeping right now. He's definitely got Amanda in the group said people watching helps her. I'm a straight up creep too. I'm a people watcher. If I get into like a restaurant, my wife knows exactly where I need to sit. So I can like perch and watch everything. So that nothing's going on behind me. I can just like pretend I know what conversations people are having. Yeah, I'm weird like that.
Thanks again for listening. It'd be awesome if you took the time to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let the comment below so we can connect. Again, if you want to catch a shout out as a future listener of the week, make sure you subscribe to the show on iTunes and give it a rating and review.